Last episode, we talked about inheritance. The key line was simple. A will is not a wallet. Legal authority and technical access have to meet. Today we go one layer deeper into multisig, because multisig sounds like the adult answer to self-custody. More keys, more protection, more serious. Sometimes that is true. Sometimes adding more keys solves the wrong problem and creates 3 new ones. Multisig is powerful. It is not magic. The beginner model is this. Single signature means one key can authorize a spend. Multisig means a spend needs some threshold of signatures. The Bitcoin Developer Guide describes the basic pattern as M of N. That means M valid signatures are required from N possible public keys. A 2 of 3 setup is the common teaching example. 3 keys exist, any 2 can spend, 1 alone cannot. That is only an example. It is not a recommendation. The point is the shape of the control. Instead of one key being everything, control is distributed. That distribution can solve real problems. First, multisig can reduce single key failure. If one device is lost, one backup is damaged, or one location fails, the wallet may still be recoverable if the threshold and backup plan are intact. Second, multisig can reduce single key theft. If an attacker gets only one key in a 2 of 3 setup, that key alone may not be enough to spend. Third, multisig can help with shared responsibility. A company, family, or estate plan may not want one person to be the entire control system. Fourth, multisig can make panic harder. If one compromised laptop cannot move the whole stack alone, the owner gets time. Those are real benefits. But every benefit has an operational shadow. The first shadow is coordination. If spending requires 2 signatures, then 2 signing paths must actually work when needed. That sounds obvious until the moment one device is out of date, one person is unreachable, one seed phrase is missing, or one wallet file is misunderstood. The second shadow is the wallet configuration. In many multi-key setups, recovering the wallet is not only about having private keys. Bitcoin Design's inheritance backup guidance explains that a multi-key wallet backup includes both the private key material and the wallet configuration. People often call this context a descriptor, wallet configuration, or setup file, depending on the wallet. The beginner lesson is simple. Keys alone may not be the whole map. If your heirs or future self have keys but do not know how they fit together, recovery can become a puzzle. Imagine finding 3 metal backups in 3 places. That might sound like success, but success depends on the question. 3 backups of what? Are they 3 copies of the same key? Are they 3 different keys in a 2 of 3 wallet? Are 2 of them old? Is one a passphrase protected signer? Which wallet software created the setup? Which account path was used? Was this legacy script multisig, wrapped SegWit, native SegWit, or something newer? A beginner does not need to memorize every technical format to understand the danger. The danger is that the keys can be real and the recovery context can still be missing. That is why the map matters. The non-secret map turns a pile of artifacts into an understandable system. The third shadow is false confidence. Multisig can sound safer because it is more advanced, but advanced does not mean safer if the human plan is weaker. One key can be simple and fragile. 3 keys can be robust and fragile in a different way. If nobody understands the setup, more keys do not create clarity. They create more ways to be confused. The fourth shadow is estate and family continuity. A 2 of 3 wallet might protect against theft during life, but what happens if the only person who understands the 3 keys is gone? What happens if the surviving family finds one device and one phrase but not the wallet configuration? What happens if a cosigner service changed names, shut down, or cannot be identified? What happens if the plan depends on a person who is not legally authorized to help? What happens if the person with legal authority has no technical map, while the person with technical knowledge has no legal authority? That is not a Bitcoin protocol problem. That is a continuity problem. And it is exactly the kind of problem that shows up after the owner is no longer available to explain the difference. This is why multisig belongs after the inheritance episode. It can improve continuity only if the continuity plan includes the human map, not secrets on a sticky note, not sensitive details in a public document, a non-secret map. What wallet type exists? How many keys exist? What threshold is required? Who is supposed to know the process? Which professional roles are involved? Which documents give legal authority? And what information must never be exposed? This map can be written without revealing seed words. It can identify categories, not secrets. It can say that a multisig wallet exists without saying enough to spend. It can say that recovery requires 2 of 3 signers without publishing the signers. It can tell heirs which professionals to contact without turning the document into a theft manual. That balance is the whole art. Too little context and the plan dies with the owner. Too much secret information and the plan becomes a theft risk. That distinction matters. The map is not the secret. The map tells the right person what category of system exists. The secret authorizes spending. Confusing those two is how people either overshare dangerous information or hide the plan so well that nobody can execute it. Here's the clean model. Multisig solves concentration risk. It does not solve comprehension risk. It can reduce the danger of one key being lost or stolen. It does not remove the need for backups. It can make family or business control more resilient. It does not remove the need for legal authority. It can make spending harder for an attacker. It can also make recovery harder for the owner. That is the trade-off. The honest question is not, is multisig good? The honest question is the system around the multisig good enough? If the answer is yes, multisig can be a serious tool. If the answer is no, multisig can turn one failure point into several. There is also a privacy and fee side, but beginners do not need to start there. Older script-based multisig has different chain fingerprints than newer approaches. Bitcoin Optech has written about the distinction between multisig scripts and multi-signatures in the Taproot era. That technical conversation is real. But the first order beginner issue is not Taproot theory. It is whether your future self can recover, coordinate, and understand the wallet. So before someone upgrades into multisig, ask 5 questions. 1. What specific failure am I trying to remove? Theft, loss, a single family bottleneck, business continuity, estate continuity. If you cannot name the failure, you cannot judge the design. 2. Who can sign when things are normal? Do they know the process? Can they practice without exposing secrets? 3. Who can recover when things are not normal? That includes death, incapacity, lost devices, failed hardware, lost passwords, outdated software, or family confusion. Normal day custody and bad day recovery are different tests. A setup can feel smooth when the owner is calm, devices are nearby, and every password is remembered. That does not prove the plan works after a move, a hospital stay, a lost phone, a house fire, or a grieving family trying to understand unfamiliar tools. Self-custody plans should be judged under stress, not only under perfect conditions. 4. Where is the non-secret map? Not the seed words, not the private keys, the map. The wallet type, threshold, roles, and recovery context. 5. What happens if one piece disappears? A serious multisig plan should survive an expected failure. If one missing piece destroys the plan, maybe the design is not as resilient as it feels. And if every recovery path depends on the same person, the multisig may be a technical upgrade wrapped around a human single point of failure. That is the irony. People build multisig to avoid one technical point of failure, then leave one human point of failure untouched. The protocol cannot fix that. Only planning can. This is the core lesson. Multisig is not a trophy. It is a coordination system. If the coordination is strong, extra keys can reduce risk. If the coordination is weak, extra keys can create risk. That is why Bitcoin self-custody is not only cryptography. It is operations. It is records. It is family communication. It is legal context. It is practice. The protocol can enforce the threshold. It cannot explain the plan to your heirs. It cannot remember where you put the wallet configuration. It cannot tell your spouse which device is one signer and which device is just an old phone. It cannot decide whether your lawyer should know the existence of the plan without knowing the secrets. That part is human. And in self-custody, the human part is not optional. This is also why practice matters. Practice does not mean exposing your real stack or making reckless moves. It means proving that the recovery story makes sense before the emergency. Can the owner explain the threshold in plain English? Can the trusted people understand their roles without seeing secrets? Can the non-secret documents survive time, software changes, and family stress? Can the plan be reviewed without turning into a security incident? If the answer is no, the weak point is not the cryptography. The weak point is operations. So where does this leave a beginner? Do not hear this as anti-multisig. Hear it as anti-false confidence. Multisig can be one of the best tools in Bitcoin custody. It can also be the wrong tool for a person who has not mastered basic backups, wallet labels, recovery practice, and non-secret documentation. The right progression is not advanced equals safe. The right progression is clear problem, clear design, clear recovery, clear human handoff. Then decide whether multisig helps. If it does, take it seriously. If it does not, do not cosplay complexity. Bitcoin rewards verification. That includes verifying your own custody plan. Next episode, we go into passphrases, the extra word that can protect a wallet, confuse a family, or destroy recovery if the human plan is weak. Educational only, not financial, tax, legal, security, privacy, or estate planning advice.